everyone. Hopefully, you're having a great Monday and a great weekend. Of course, yesterday I was publishing a couple of trades that we were basically jumping in or closing out. So, hopefully, you did watch those on the social media. I post them as shorts in this channel. So, pretty much we got there a very nice taking profits and also a reversal. But without further ado, let's take a look at what else we have. But first of all, Mr. J, what is up, brother? Welcome back. Nancy Crow, Army Piper, what is up, and good morning, guys. So great to have you. So Piper, if you have a chance to join us, I sent the link there. So seems like Piper will be maybe jumping in here if he has a chance. Hopefully he does sporadically, but we don't want to cut his time. Audio, it's broken. All right, see that audio is broken. Seems like my let me fix this. Elgato is just killing me. Hello, testing. Can you guys confirm that we are good to go? And audio wise. So I think that we're good to go on the audio thing. Seems like wavelength is just been killing me lately. I don't know why. But yeah. Perfect. Thank you for that, Piper. All good. All right. I don't know what's going on. I might have to reinstall Wavelength since I had that update on Windows. It seems like it's been killing me. But if you also can reading here, and thank you for that, Piper and Mr. J. As you can read on the thumbnail, Solana taking over Ethereum, but it has to do with the NFT space. It seems like it has been flipping it. So I mean, I was expecting at some point we had that coming because of the fees of Ethereum, but let's not waste any more time and jump into the news in here. Here we go. So Solana closes gap on Ethereum with over 60 million in NFT sales. That is a ton of sales. Let's take a look at that. Ethereum has a long regime over the NFT sector. Solana recently overtook Ethereum in NFT sales. Solana's uprising could signal a massive shift in the industry dynamics. It absolutely can. So Solana's incredible performance this year has positioned the project as a formidable threat to Ethereum. Exactly, and especially because of the fees that Ethereum has been having lately, the network turns heads with its on-chain and trading activity. After successfully surpassing Ethereum on-chain activity, Solana outshines its rival in another important metric, NFT sales. So, yep, Solana seems like it's doing a comeback. We saw Solana basically crashing hard throughout the bear market. Nonetheless, it seems like it is just pumping right now on every single part of Solana's networks, especially because of the speed of the market that they have, speed on change, and also the fees that are not as killing as Ethereum. Although Ethereum, I mean, that is a giant, so we should not be underestimating Ethereum. Good morning, everyone. Tradefly, what is up, brother? GIS, 8IAs, what is up? Ninja Glock, Red Elephant, what is up? Alex, oh, Crypto the Other, welcome. Indie Rock Crypto, what is up, guys? Welcome. And hopefully you have had a great weekend. So, yeah, talking about Solana. Guys, let me know what you think right here on the comments, because I want to know what is up, and what you guys thoughts on the matter. Is maybe Solana is gonna become the new Ethereum? Do you think Ethereum is gonna come up with something else that lowers the time on their on-chain transaction and maybe brings up or lowers down their Ethereum fees? Let me know what you think is gonna be happening on Ethereum. Jumping back to Cardano. Cardano has been doing headlines all over the place, all over the week, all across the weekend. I mean, Cardano, the impressive growth, 79.7 million. Come on, transactions, 1,307 project. Look at that, 9.1 million native tokens. So I mean, it seems like Cardano is doing a wonderful job in there. So I also see I'm looking at ETH. What is up, brother? Soul crap. Yeah, could be 2024 to 50. Yo, what's up? So let's see, in the latest Cardano weekly development report released on 8 December 2023, IOG shared a comprehensive overview of its recent advancements on ongoing projects, reflecting a robust and dynamic growth trajectory. The report encapsulates both key highlights and cumulative static to date, illustrating the significant stride made by the blockchain platform. The development team successfully implemented the initial version of Conway conformance testing, making a milestone in the platform's communication and robust and reliable system performance in preparation for the future upgrades. That seems amazing. I mean, I believe that right now, and let me compare it back to both Solana and Ethereum, stocks are pulling back too. This is fundamental market dip, yes. And I think we also have a news about that because we're expecting some releases on the fundamental, on the traditional markets up ahead. But yes, RB Piper is very, it's right on it. Vacation is great at that, Piper. Hopefully you're having a great vacation there. So yeah, I mean, going back into ADA here, I believe that it is very important what they're doing. They're preparing for the upscaling on their coin. I mean, we've been seeing that growth happening over and over, and many of those coins, especially I would say Ethereum, as you know, like spearhead, maybe pioneer within this smart contract coins, I mean, maybe have been not falling in place on what they need to do for the upcoming growth. So it seems like 8 Hour Cardano is taking that growth into their hands. So I think that could be a significant improvement if they can achieve that stability on their network as we could be expecting, because keeping the network stable, fast, and cheap will absolutely be having ginormous reactions there. Cardano again, making head news. Look at that Cardano founder accidental meme coin plug spell disaster. So guys, hopefully you did not jump in this coin. I only saw it on Twitter, on X, but I mean, when I jump in to look at what was going on, everything was already happened and over. Seems like Charles Hoskinson started straight controversy with a picture of his dog. The Cardano founder accidentally endorsed a dog-themed meme coin by tagging an account with his dog's name. The meme coin experienced a whopping 800% surge before retracing it all back. So it seems like Charles Hoskinson was uploading a picture with his dog Freya. So he tagged Freya Hoskinson, but also seemed like a couple of like shady coins, and we'll see that here. Seconds after Hawkinson's post, relative obscure Cardano non-native meme coin Freya changed its handle from Freya Husk to Freya Hoskinson. So there you go. I mean, they were fast on doing that. That's subtle alternative created an illusion, making it appear it's that Hoskinson endorsed the project to his over 1 million followers. So it seems like that was not only a misunderstanding, but also somebody was taking advantage of that. I mean, we can also see that over and over when some very famous guys in the market publish some kind of dog pictures of memes around the internet. But yeah, it seems like they growth like 800% and then went basically all the way back down to their initial. So hopefully, guys, you did not get stuck in there. And let's move into the next news. This is what maybe Piper was referring to. We're having two key events next week. Will bring volatility to the stock market. Maybe this is what we're seeing. Traditional market just retracing for a little bit, just getting ahead of the news that we might be looking at here. And let me read you guys what's the next big conference where we should get a little community get together going. Oh, that should be a great idea. I don't know. Let's plan it. Hey, what's up, GIS? And let's see what are those two main events. All right, so quick take. Next week, we'll bring two crucial indicators to the market health going in the next year. The Fed's latest decisions on interest rates. So the interest rates, the famous interest rates, and the release of the United States November inflation number. Speculation around these two events is fueling rising volatility in the stock market as traders attempt to gauge the sentiment on the markets going into 2024, according to Bloomberg. So yeah, I mean, those are very big numbers that we're going to be looking at. There are very two big metrics that we are waiting for, especially right now, since we're going to be seeing how November ends and maybe how are we going to be tackling December. I mean, basically the end of the year, very important data to see how maybe January might be looking. Remember that how we end up this year, we just had Black Friday, holidays are on their way. I mean, we're going to be having holiday season, or we are right now in holiday season. So people should be spending, and basically the market should be thriving at this point. But we have seen a little bit of resistance on the market that we previously have looked on with Piper around this times, which are a little bit worrying. That's why we see that November data could be a little bit bearish right now as markets and traders try to prepare for whatever they might be speculating up ahead. So yeah, let's take a look at what X marks the spot. So on X marks the spot, let's see watch Guru. So something that is not new, but he's been doing short story back again. All right, it is what happened with CryptoZoo, also with Logan Paul. So basically, Logan Paul launched a CryptoZoo project, NFT project, where he promised a ton of things. The team behind CryptoZoo did not deliver, and since Logan Paul was the face of it, I mean, he also kind of like it wasn't that into it at the same time. So it was a mess for him. And I'm so sorry for the people that bought into CryptoZoo. But why am I posting this? Because now it's where we're seeing this kind of stories coming back to life. Because we're heading to the halving. We're seeing that food and FOMO fighting in the market. So yeah. Also, another thing that might be bringing FOMO and food, it is the DOJ's document reveals by Binance's supervision requirements. So it seems like breaking news, a Binance double whammy. So newly unsettled US DOJ feeling could mean the end of Binance, which I'm not that 100% sure about it. I mean, it's a little bit, I believe that might be a little bit too possible, but too early to call for Binance end. And SEC files a supplemental pleading against Binance. That could be an issue, of course, straining the SEC Binance lawsuit exponentially. I mean, let's take a look back at what has happened with the previous cases, right? We have XRP, we have had was it FTX? So I mean, we do already have a couple of like indication or baselines to see where could this be going. So the pattern that I've been taking around this, it is that when we see it, where we don't see a right away collapse of the industry at that point, or on the other side of the SEC or the SEC's counterpart, it usually ends up not being as bad as we could be expecting. All right, I mean, I'm not calling for Binance, I'm not shilling Binance at all. In fact, I believe that it was about time that Binance start losing a little bit of that hegemony or hegemony that he had over the crypto space. Why? Because they have so much power that they could easily be moving the markets in a shady ways, right? I mean, especially when we see those audits not being completed during the COVID, during early this year and past years, right? I mean, yeah. So this at this point, remember that Binance has Binance US and also Binance International. So Binance is not exclusively based on the US. In fact, it has their own its own Binance US to be operating in the US, right? I mean, remember they are away there overseas, and that's where they could be thriving in case they've been I don't know, held, let's call it held hostage or held in trouble by the SEC, right? So, I mean, seeing that they're being getting in trouble over and over and over, or this trouble hasn't been come to a conclusion, it tells me that Binance will probably survive this storm. I don't know how strong it will be doing it, but so far, I do believe that it's not such a huge problem or like existence threatening to Binance so far, right? Another very important point that I want to bring up here, look at the fear and greed index, all right? And I'm taking this because I'm seeing since yesterday, since my alarm started going crazy on those shorts, where are we sitting on the fear and greed indexes? All right, so usually when we start going into fear or greed or extreme greed, that's the perfect conditions for the perfect storm start accumulating. All right, I'm not saying that I'm bearish on overall crypto. I'm just saying that this is where market makers could be making their push to start selling a couple of their assets that they bought very low. All right, and right now either trying to make that pullback or just selling big quantities of that coins that ensure that the market will not be affected that much by their sales. Remember that when they buy in bulk. All right, so it's Binance theory open themselves to US trades loss when they knowing allowed US person to use their exchange. Yes, totally agreed. In fact, Piper, I did mention a couple of Piper Academy OP shows before, and this is again my own personal take on that. It was that I would rather see Binance, and talking about the health of Binance, not that I wanted to see it, but just like an opinion if I was running Binance, which I'm not, all right? So maybe just cutting that limb for good, like cutting that whatever it's harming them, and then moving on where the rest of the world, which at the same time, I mean, as my own counter prediction, it could have been that they're already in trouble and just getting rid of it. It is maybe just taking their hands out of the state where they still thought that they could be having some influence in where that in the United States maybe regulations could be going, which tells me at this point that maybe that was their plan, and that's why they haven't pulled out of that market, that specialty market, and that is because they could be having the means to confront whatever might be coming and still survive on it. The US is the largest population of users in the exchange. Yes, absolutely. But I mean, yes, I cannot argue against that at all because that is a fact, right? But at the same time, if you combine everything else and you start pulling out or away from it look at that. I mean, I'm not saying that they should. I mean, in fact, that would be something I will be against of, all right? But allowing anybody's joining you know their webpage or their accounts or their services without knowing where they're from. That could be another way of, like, I mean, taking that US population in without having to respond to the states, right? Because they would not have anything to do with them unless the United States might be adding a couple of, like, I don't know, let's see, speed bumps to their way to it, which, I mean, they have, right? But yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is a fact. Over 16% of users are US citizens. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, let's take a look at this, the fear and greed index. All right, so let's go here, and also let's take a look at what has happened when we are on grid. All right, so remember, we are 74, we are green, and we are on grid. All right, so what has happened before when we are somewhere around that? Look at those numbers, 72, 74. We start seeing the beginning of a reversal or a pullback. All right, it doesn't mean that we're going to be pulling back all the way back, just like it happened here. Look at that, 75, 78, 83, and then we starting making a pullback. Of course, there's been other ways or other times that we also have 73, but also look at what has happened there. A little smaller pullback and then keep going up. Look at that. Again, 78, 74, 70, 80, smaller pullback, and then a continuation. All right, so what is it telling me here? Maybe that this is a good opportunity for those market makers to start playing out or move or entering with their plays, right? I mean, let's see, John D. I thought the block US users from using Binance. Oh, well, yeah, that happened on the global version, just to say so, because they do have the US version. And because they wanted to comply in a certain way with US regulation, that's why they opened up Binance US for US citizens, but you were not able to do leverage there. All right, guys. So, oh, by the way, if you are looking for a great coffee, you should be looking for aviation coffee. It's so good. All right, moving on what I have in here. Let's take a look at, again, X. What's happening? Just in Google update their crypto and policy permanent crypto trust ads starting late January. All right, so we're gonna be seeing, look at that, crypto trust ads. All right, be prepared because we could be being bumped there with the new, I mean, crypto things happening here. So starting late January, coinciding with expected US approval of spot Bitcoin ETF. All right, so guys, FOMO and food. Remember, we might be seeing those smaller pullbacks, but again, just like I showed you here, this is what I believe we could be happening somewhere around here now that we are kind of like on the way to approve Bitcoin ETF, but not yet a reality. Also, my own opinion here is that we could be having a big-ish pullback when the Bitcoin ETF gets approved, if that happens, which I believe it will. Why? Because, I mean, we've been seeing a ton of time before the government decides to approve it, right? So they've been just postponing it, and part of my own opinion is that it is not because they don't want it to, or just because everything looks not right or something like that. It is because they need to position their interest partners within a good spot before they start announcing or start moving forward with that Bitcoin ETF. All right, so guys, let me know in the chat, what are your thoughts? If you agree with me or you disagree, I would always love to see your take on that. So in the meantime, let's jump into the charts because I believe we have a ton of things to look into the charts. So starting with Bitcoin, let's take a look at Bitcoin here, and we see a beautiful pullback. We're right to that dynamic reactor. It seems like I have a little bit of my oscillator not playing out here. Let me turn this one up and then turn it off. Click OK. And let's get started with my squeeze momentum along with my RSI prime. So I need to see what's happening with my RSI prime, all right? So I've been looking for this retracement for a long time. Remember that, in fact, we were seeing a little bit of a farther back retracement because the price of Bitcoin was lower. But we were always looking at this section in here because we have a ton of supports there, all right? So one of those support are predictive ranges that we had going on there. We also had a couple of support and resistances. We have also some spikes from the VPVR, but most likely we had that squeeze momentum going into the red. All right, let's see what has happened there and when am I going to be looking for that reversal to happen. All right, it seems like, and this is what I believe, whatever, just like Piper mentioned, whatever gets wicked, get candled. All right, so at this point it looks like that is the way. So remember when we were right on this histogram lower shade of green, and I was expecting it for this going lower, therefore seeking for the flip of the ribbon on the prime oscillator. Well, then now we have crossed the zero line in here, the 50% line, and we've been making right now a higher or longer red valley. All right, the important part in here is look at the ADX. It's pointing up. Remember that the ADX, it's telling me the strength of whatever I have going on my squeeze momentum. All right, so I am red on my squeeze momentum and I have strength on my ADX, which means that so far I do have that strength on my bearishness. All right, so far I do believe that this downtrend continuation might be happening. I'm looking at this section right here, somewhere around 40,600 zone, to start looking for my next possible entry. Just so you know, I am laddering in as I see Bitcoin retracing. Remember that I'm somewhat a perma bull in here. All right, I'm always looking to position myself into a better zone. All right, that does not takes me out on the shorting opportunities, and we'll see that on Illuvium, on Aave, and also on Rune that we have coming up next. All right, so now that we see that we still have continuation of that strength, what I want to see is either the ADX start curving down, all right, or going back down in here, all right, so with a sharp angle here. Also, I want to start seeing like darker shades of the histogram bars in here. All right, so when I see darker shades of histogram bars and also a decreasing ADX, let me show you what is going to be happening. So going up in here and going down in here, what happened? We see a pullback in this zone. All right, so that is not a complete reversal. In this case, it was because we started confirming with the green histogram bars. But at that point, I will be reassessing my trade to see what am I going to be doing. All right, so moving to my RSI prime, in this case, I'm going to be doing a little bit more of regular candles analysis along with my high kinetic candles. Right now, it's on high kinetic. By the way, the RSI prime, it's a free indicator as well as a squeeze momentum indicator and the ADX. You can go find them in the indicators under the search bottom here, and then looking for squeeze momentum indicator by Lazy Bear, ADX, and also RSI prime by Chart Prime. So what am I seeing here? I'm seeing big candles. All right, so far those big candles keep playing out. All right, look at that. So that usually gives me a continuation on that bearishness that I had previously. All right, so as you can see, what I am expecting is those smaller candles, all right, to start either plotting like very tiny and then also changing of color. All right, once I start seeing smaller candles in here and a change of color, and also I'll be looking for that support zone, well then that will be a very strong indication that I could be reversing. So far my first support zone it is again somewhere around the 40K 100 or 200. Next one will be where my VPVR it's located, which is somewhere around the 37K. I'm not sure if we're gonna be heading to this zone. I would love to see it heading to this 37K zone, because that will be giving me another chance to ladder into a better position and just keep buying Bitcoin for cheap. But if not, I'm already in for Bitcoin and looking for a short-term long entry or long re-entry, as I'm looking for that bouncing there. So let's see if we have anything else in here on the chat. May I have $1,000 in Solana? How I'll have in 2024? Well, then depends if you stake it, if you put it on any maybe anything that give you rewards for it, but depends on the highest that we could be adding. So that is a little bit unknown because we don't know where Solana is going to be topping up, but we could be looking at where big resistance might be, and also based on time frame. But going into right now ETH, let's take a look at ETH. Remember that last event we were flipping ETH around. All right, so I'm gonna do it one more time in here. So I'm gonna do Alt-I because I'm on PC. And remember, when I'm looking at this point, it is my what? Going down, little range V-shaped recovery, and then the next high not being higher than my previous ranging zone. Remember that my first bouncing zone was in here, and then my extended bouncing zone was between these two channels. Price, love those gaps. Yes. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Also keep an eye on the CME gaps for BTC, about 4,439, and very close to the zones that we're looking out there. Trade flights. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's also take a look at what I was looking at this point. So at this point, remember, I was looking for that heads up on what it might be looking a ranging zone for the Wyckoff theory, right? Or the Wyckoff method. So far, it's still within those lines. And look at what's happening here. Look at my oscillator. It is breaking, all right? So far, this looks like a very nice entry point, not financial advice. And I will not be entering right away because I'm going to be waiting for another candle to be closing, because again, look at my RSI prime. I want to have a confirmation because I don't want to get caught in some uncertainty movement. Remember, at this point, I am inverted, so I need to invert it back, which means that I could be looking either a big range in here, all right, or maybe a very stiff double top or bull flag. So far, bull flag because we're still bullish until we break the zero line. I'm gonna be calling for the next support zone, which is gonna be around 46K. So what I'm gonna be doing, just in case, I'm gonna be placing an alert in here, all right? Lower than this week. Why? If I start hitting lower than this week, I should be looking for maybe a pullback, and not financial advice, but a possibility of that breakthrough retest, and off we go for the next zone, which is gonna be somewhere around the 47, 45 zone there. Gas, what's up? How much can ADA reach in 2024? So that is unknown, and we will need another analysis, but let's take a look at what has happened on daily or even weekly. So 2024, let's take a look at the groove curve in here. So what we have right now in here, and let's jump with a possible price range in here, and from where we are right now to the previous zone in here, all right, we have a 400% so 442%, all right, so where we're from. So the first thing I'm going to be looking at is going to be my first support and resistance zones, all right. So the first thing I want to start calling for how far it could be going will be breaking some channels, all right. So JSA, I don't want to call like a very formal topping here. Why? Because it is right now not the time. I could be speculating on how far could it go after we hit we start the halving, or we hit the halving line. Remember, on all of the cycles, we have a same pattern. The same pattern, it is that we have the halving event, all right? Then money flows to Bitcoin, all right? Then money flows out of Bitcoin into the top 20 altcoins. Then money flows out of those top 20 altcoins and go to meme coins, if we can call it that way. And then from those meme coins flows back to stable coins. And then the cycles repeats again. From stable coins, they go to Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. So despite we've seen a mini alt season that I believe that could be stabilizing by the end of January, I don't believe that right now it is the place to call Cardano's top. Why? Because it could be absolutely face melting tops, or not even reaching the previous ones. But I believe that it's gonna be a great cycle for Cardano. All right, so let's take a look at here, for example, this growth curving here. So we have this grew, and then let's take a look at this other one, and then let's take a look at this other one, from this one to the top one. So the first thing that we see is that a 65, all right, let me change this. This is, where is it? Here we go. A 172, then a 65, and then a smaller cycle in here. So what am I going to be looking? It's basically the same growth from this section. So how far could it go? Just as a quick, just like a very quick analysis, not going into Fibonacci's, because I want to also go into a couple of trades that we could be looking at this week. We could be looking at some cycle reaching somewhere around $5.55 there. All right, again, this is unknown till now, but I could start plotting up a couple of, let's see, I don't know, possible support resistances, or throwing here some Fib retracements. Let's do that very, very quick. Fib retracements, let's call it from this bottom to maybe the previous top, all right? And then let's see if we start breaking those tops. Well, then if we start breaking my previous analysis, this section here, well, then we will have the Hail Mary section all the way to $8, all right? But again, this could be a blow off top, not making it over the 618, all right? Which could be a very, very big resistance going farther ahead. Again, this is still too early, not financial advice. We need to wait, or at least I believe that we need to wait till the halving event. But this is a very quick one here. Let's see also what's going on in the chat here. BingX stopping, what is it, serving US. Oh yeah, I see that, customers as well. Also TradeFire, also keep an eye on CME gaps for Bitcoin. Absolutely. Price, love to go that gap. Yeah, all right, to 2024. Good morning, French Toast. And sending also love for Alex, crypto, French Toast, those were meet again. All right, so let's go to, all right, to Aave. Let's take a look at Aave. Just broke to the big supporting here. We had that alarm ringing on 92.35. It happened December the 10th, yesterday at 8 my time. So basically we're breaking here. As you can see, we went back up and then finalizing, breaking through. It was kind of like a already knowing movement, because we were breaking through that one. We had big candles in here, and also look at the strength that we had all the way back here at that support on that bearish movement. So now what is the next question? Let's take a look at daily. How far could it go to the downside? And also where could we be expecting maybe some supports or re-entry? So far on daily, we are not bearish, we're very bullish, but we could be going into that bearishness on daily, which I would not be accounting for it to be such a hard dip in here until we hit that, or until we break that dynamic reactor somewhere around 78. All right. So what I want to see here, it's FOR on this oscillator. All right. Flip of the ribbon. So I am right now on a waiting zone, and I'm looking at the 4 hour. All right, for that bouncing scenario. Let me clear this up in here and look at what's also happening on my prime oscillator. All right, I am having an early oversold signal in there. All right, it's not oversold yet, but I'm on oversold zones. What I want to start looking for, it's smaller candle here, and then darker shades of red in here, with this momentum keep going up. All right, and then maybe retracing after I finalize this movement and then going back up. Let me show you what am I expecting here. All right, look at that movement going on, going down, and then look at that, and let me turn off the squeeze momentum so you can see it much better. All right, that bounce, that retest on that 5 line in here. Right, so that is what I want to see in here, going up. And that movement going up, I wanted to see pairing with some green mountains or some green histogram candles. All right, on the squeeze momentum. So far, not there yet, but I'm looking at that sell signal. All right, because I usually wait for a pullback to enter for a sell, maybe going for the next big support, which could be somewhere around here, based on my VPVR. Look at that. Also, I have another one in here, another one in here, so very much there. Let's take a look at somewhere else. Look at that, my support and resistances. Where else do I have support and resistances? Well, then I can see a very nice gap in here where price have had a ton of trouble breaking through with support and resistance. So this is the zone where I'll be looking both daily and 4 hour. Look at that beautiful number to support on the daily, maybe weakening into the center of that of this box that my VPVR spike makes. All right, so that's what I'll be looking for. So I'm gonna be adding an alert somewhere around here at the center of this little range, so I have an alert ringing to my phone as soon as I start getting into that zone. Then I'll be reanalyzing my entry on Aave. So far, so good. I'm looking to reposition for the next short on the 4 hour for a breakthrough, retest, and off we go to the next support zone where I'll start looking for hedge zones. Again, not financial advice. This is what I'm gonna be doing as the price start getting to the zones that I have looked at today. So yeah, let's take a look at iLovium, because iLovium was basically perfect. All right, I also posted here as a short the Piper Academy, exactly as I was taking profits on this short. Remember, we were looking at this bouncing zone because we had my head and shoulders lines playing out in here, going for the top of those lines. We also established an entry point in here, possible entry point there. And as you can see, yes, we weak above in there, but very nice. All right, let's see what was my entry point at this section, and let me explain it. So at this point, I did not enter here or anywhere there. Why? Because remember, it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and I had a real chance of a retest if I started flipping up in here. All right, that would have mean that I should have entered any long at this retest. What I was looking for, it is both of these lines, my head and shoulders lines in here, and also my VPVR line playing out there. All right, what happened? Remember that I have explained before on previous events, all right, that we have, let's call this a channel. All right, when we are ranging on a channel, the first thing that we need to see is looking at where the price it is heading from the center line. All right, then it's, we start seeing pushing down, just like Piper mentions. This is the Sheldon Cooper event, right? Or a Shelley Cooper maybe theory, which as long as he keeps knocking on the door, Penny will eventually answer and open that door, right? So we're making that bearish pressure in here. So it makes more likely, all right, not 100% sure, but more likely to break to the downside. What happens if we do break to the downside and then going for that retest, we close inside of the pattern? Usually we have somewhere between, I don't know, 65 to 80%. I know it's a big gap, but 65 to 80% based on my own calculations to go visit the center line of that channel or that figure, all right? And then if we break it through that center line, we most definitely are going to find that top or the other zone of that that pattern, right? And that usually applies to any pattern that we could be seeing. At this point, it happened beautifully on this head and shoulder lines, as Piper called it, the OC house, all right? This little house here. So we broke through, all right? Waiting for that retest. We broke below the zero line. We still had having those big candles in there, all right? And we broke below, back below into that pattern there, all right? So what was I expecting? Look at that. We're already breaking through, breaking here. So I enter within my third candle in here, expecting that pullback to happen. Very nice pullback happen all the way down here as I start ringing that base point, my alert. Let's take a look at where that alert happened. Here we go, Illuvium. It happened at 8 my time at, what is it, 101.21. 101.21. Here we go, somewhere around here. So as I was hitting this section, I was taking 50% out. And then as I hitting this other section, I was taking another 50% of what it was left. So what I have left? I have left a 25% left, which I usually trail, all right? So I'm getting close to getting that trailing out, all right? So my trailing zone is somewhere around there above my dynamic reactor, right here, somewhere around these lines. So my trailing stop is at somewhere around 104, just so you have on mind. And if we hit that, I'm gonna be selling or taking everything that I have on my short position, all right? And then preparing again for another better entry as I either break through or retest, but I'll be gaining that out of that flip of the ribbon and smaller candles. So what am I looking for my next step? Let's just wrap it up. I'm looking for smaller candles in here, flip of the ribbon, FOR, all right? And a breakthrough my dynamic reactor to the upside, all right? So as long as I don't have those, I'll still holding my short position, all right? Especially if we break below my neckline in here and we close below that neckline in there. I also could be reacting as I flip of the ribbon and then bounce back from that trend line. But that's only the possibility, so you guys be prepared. All right, so any questions so far, guys? Also, if you have something that you are aiming for, let me know on the chat so I can go deep dive on that analysis. All right, moving on. In the meantime, in Rune, look at that very, very, very similar analysis that we had going on there. Remember that we had this this ranging zone playing out, all right? So what happened? As you can see, not breaking it through the middle line in here, which again was along with my top line in there, all right? So what happened? Making that downward pressure, seems like we broke below, all right? Going for that retest, we enter again for the middle. We're not able to break through. Look at my alarm, was just about to be hit, all right? Just about to be hit. And then that was my entry for that short, all right? That alarm was not hit, all right? That was barely there. But I was looking at that previous entry zone, all right? So let's see. Hey OC, hey, what's up? Could you check what is going on with IMX? Absolutely. And INJ? Absolutely. Let's take a look at that right after Rune. My pleasure on taking a look at those. So, do I have a position? Yes. Do I call it? Not officially because my alarm wasn't ringing, but look at that. I mean, and oh my God, major pain would have been now telling me, OC, come on with that alert. Look at that. I mean, it was there. Look at that. It was there. It was right there. But all right, I need to stop complaining about it because I did enter with a very small position. Nevertheless, enter. I did call it out right here and I'm looking for a re-entry. All right. So what's going to be my re-entry? Again, not financial advice, but I already have, look at that. And I was looking previously at this zone. Since this week happened very, very fast, I was not able to take profits down there. But what I'm looking for at this point, it's maybe another candle somewhere around those sections, all right, for me start reconsidering for a small long entry, all right, going for that dynamic reactor and my neckline in here, and then looking at the flip of the ribbon here or a breakthrough the zero line to understand or to see whether am I going to be taking profits here or just holding it for the breakthrough retest and off we go. All right, so that is my plan for Rune, guys. Hopefully you guys are able to join this trade as it happens throughout the week, and be prepared because I'm going to be sending those shorts on the Piper Academy as I see movements in here happening. So I'm going to be adding an alert somewhere around here, just close to that zone. Why? Because I want to prevent not having that alert playing out. All right. So just so you know, guys, I'm only going to be posting the ones that they take alerts. Why? Because that is giving me proof of entry or proof of that we were expecting that zone. These little zones, I will be either taking them or not taking them personally and then just telling you throughout the days in here. But I will be publishing the ones that touch and bring those lines. Nonetheless, I'm going to be moving this one all the way down here, a little bit below, just to accommodate for the next movement that I am expecting. So far, so good. Let's jump into, what is it? IMX. Here we go. Are we talking about the IMX crypto, or are we talking about the IMX that Piper was looking at previously? Just because we have a little delay here, I'm going to get started with crypto. And if I got it wrong, just let me know and I'll just change the asset there. So Aces, let me know. All right, let's take a look at here at the Market Order Pro that we have turned on. Also, I'm going to be using maybe some, let's see, I'm going to be adding my EMAs. So for EMAs, here we go. I like to use this one. I'm going to be configuring them as 14, all right, 55, 100, and 200. My style is going to be blue. And then I'm going to be adding the 55 orange, a little bit thicker here, the 100 red, all right, and again a little bit thicker here, and 200 is going to be, I don't know, let's call lila or purple here, and it's going to be thicker. All right, I'm going to click OK. And as you can see, the 55 acting as beautiful support as we have that pullback in here. It seems like it did not care at all. IMX is just keep pumping here, having that flip of the ribbon at the bottom. So we need to acknowledge what's happening here. All right, let's take a look at what has happened before. What I'm talking about are the clouds. They are being compressed. Look at the compression. Usually on that compression, we see a little range on that momentum on the oscillator. All right, so I am expecting a little range in here. We can also acknowledge that compression happening here. Let's see what else happened there. That compression, and when we break that compression, we usually have a ton of volatility here. You see that we went up and down, and then depending on where we find that support or resistance, we could be having that beautiful movement. All right, so the same thing I'm looking at this point. I'm flipping up, all right? It seems like I want to flip up, but the price, it's already moving very strongly. So let me see if I can add some trend lines there, some maybe big support. Seems like everything is below. So let's go to daily, just for me to have a little bit of a better perspective. Here we go. It seems like we have a broadening wedge in there, a megaphone, and then it seems like we are right at that zone. It seems like we also had a couple of that bearish divergences, and we are getting into an overbought zone. Let me clear this up. Perfect on that. So let me move this out of the way and also bring back my RSI Prime. RSI Prime starting to make a couple of wicks in here on these candles, all right? So that's what I want to see along with small candles before I start flipping down. What's happening right here? I'm almost overbought, but I'm not gonna be considering entry after I see maybe that flip happening, all right? Why? Because we could be having a fake out in here and then going farther up. Let's see that we are also at kind of like a last support in here and into a premium zone, all right? So that bearish momentum, or that bearishness, we could be making that pressure, that bearish pressure could be acting as a retrace so far, but it seems like this is having a ton of that momentum building up in here. So we could be breaking through that zone. I am right now more into a waiting zone than in anything else, all right? So let's see right here that until I close that candle, if that close with undecisive candle, all right, I'll start looking at my oscillators. Let's see what my squeeze momentum is telling me. All right, squeeze momentum on the strength is going down, but kind of like a flipping. And also very interesting, look at my my histogram candles, all right, my histogram bars. Let me show you what has happened in the past. So let's see, here we go. Let's grab this section here and then zoom into it. Look at how we have that kind of like a movement to the upside, and what we see is a continuation of that movement until the next peak down, all right? So look at that, continuation and then retracement. Perfect. So that is why I'm not considering shorting IMX at all at this point. I remember I don't chase after prices, and come on, where is it? So at this point, I'm waiting to have, or I'm waiting to have some confirmation before I jump into a retracement movement, all right? Seems like we are close to have one, but at the same time, on daily, I'm talking about daily, close to have one on daily, but at the same time, we are flipping up here, and the squeeze momentum, it seems like we might want to go for that second peak on my squeeze momentum. So that could be taking me somewhere around 2.35. So the first thing I'm gonna be doing is adding some alarms there, right? Adding an alert there, and then maybe adding a breakthrough alarm here, which is gonna be this VPVR peaking here, all right? And then also this EMA happening along with my golden line here. So somewhere around that section. If I start breaking this one, I'm also gonna be looking at what's happening with my oscillator, and most likely I'm gonna be breaking through that zero line. And if I'm breaking through that zero line, that will be maybe a continuation for a double top pattern and breakthrough, all right? So that's what I'm looking at this point on IMX. Let's take a look at one more in that, and then we wrap it up, guys. So INJ, let's take a look at INJ. Let me save this in here. Let's close everything else and go to INJ. All right, we had it right here. Let's jump in, and seems like our last prediction was very on spot. Here we go. Let's see what else do we have. Let's get started with the price action. Let me clear everything up in here, all right? I'm also gonna be cleaning up what I have in here and making all of my oscillators small. Let's get started with the very basics. All right, am I bullish or am I bearish? Seems like I am bullish. Can you tell if you're bullish or bearish if you are not looking at your dynamic reactor, which is the main one that I look for in this section? All right, I have my EMAs turned on. All right, so as long as I don't have a crossover on my 55 over my 100, that is for me that I'm still bullish. All right, another point on that is the price. It's again above the 55 EMA. All right, and also my VPVR should be somewhere below my price action. So it seems like I am bullish at this point. Let me get started by adding my base configuration here. All right, so my base configuration seems like I am very bullish because my prime score is very high. All right, being very high doesn't mean that I'm going to be longing anywhere. I'm looking for a retracement. So far, I have these lines that are part of my Market Oracle Pro, which are called prime ranges. All right, and my prime ranges, they act as energy levels or support and resistance where the price usually gets encased. Once we break through one, most likely we're gonna go hit the other one. If we see a rejection or not getting to the next one again, we usually break below. So what's happening here? We're breaking through this one. So most likely we are gonna be generating another one in here, but not before we make a pullback. So I am expecting a pullback to happen. All right, let's see if my speculation it's mostly correct or mostly wrong. All right, for that, I'm gonna be turning on my Dynamics Pro. My Dynamics Pro, it's giving me support and resistances. I'm gonna be turning off my my EMAs, all right? And then also taking a look at what my support zones are. All right, big supports at VPVR, all right? Big support are my trend line is, all right? And also next support, as we already know, right here on my Market Oracle's trend prime range, all right? So let's now take a look at the momentum. So let me turn on my squeeze momentum indicator. Seems like, and let me make this one big. Seems like, and I'm not gonna be using candles at this point. Why? Because I want to see the squeeze momentum happening cleanly, all right? So I have the strength pointing up, right? And what am I in? I'm in a red mountain, or am I in a red valley? So I'm in a green mountain, all right? So until I start seeing darker shades of green in here, I will not be considering entering for a short or a retracement. Despite that, remember, we are still bullish on the trading space, on the crypto space, all right? So far pointing out up, and that doesn't mean that I should be longing anywhere, all right? I am seeing that it has a ton of resistance in here, and I can tell by the amount of wicks that I have, all right? Nonetheless, remember the same thing that I explained previously. What is the center of that pattern, all right? This is the center of this pattern. So as long as I keep pushing up here, I could be having that Sheldon effect, all right? So as it goes, hey, penny, 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 right? And maybe eventually, if it's lucky enough and it has strength enough, all right? So it will be breaking above that section. But my only opportunity to enter on a long will be on some support zones in here, and I start seeing that retrace and keep seeing that momentum pushing up, all right? Remember that the squeeze momentum indicator is a slightly lagging indicator, all right? So that's what I'm gonna be using also my RSI Prime. What do I want to see? I want to see small candles, all right? Small candles telling me that I'm going for a retrace. If I see that retrace, I'm also then looking at this next box to make a pullback or a bounce like that, all right? Let's see what happened here. This is exactly what I was talking about. Look at that.
going for that pullback, bouncing at the edge of that channel on support. Look at that, making that effect on where we are knocking there until we break through, retest, little range, and off we go. All right. So the same thing, I'm looking at this section here with INJ. So far, we're in a waiting zone. I could be even looking, because of the candle size, at maybe a 1 hour candle. So as you can see, it has a much cleaner view on that wave pattern. You see that, what I was looking for? The wave pattern. All right, what am I gonna be looking for at this point? It is, do I break through, retest, and off we go, or do I bounce to the upside? All right, breaking and off we go to the section wouldn't be that worrying, because on the 4 hour, it is leading us to the next big support zone. All right, so what am I gonna be doing? So far, I rather, and this is gonna be me personal, not financial advice, I'd rather see it breaking through, retest, and off we go, and try to jump at the retest or pullback, or waiting for that retracement and then watching my oscillator flip and entering there on that oscillator flip through. So guys, let's go here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know I'm a little bit late on ending the show, 9:36 my time. Hopefully you have had a great weekend just like I did. Let's send a shout out to Piper so he keeps enjoying his weekend, his vacations. In the meantime, we're gonna be here waiting for his return, and also taking a look at the charts, at the news, and everything that you guys need to know to be prepared throughout the week and in the markets. Remember, this upcoming Fed data release is going to be very, very important. So we need to keep our eyes peeled on what might be happening. Also, remember, buy the rumors, sell the news, not financial advice. And as always, sharing is caring. And guys, see you tomorrow. And use a stop loss, as Piper would say. See you guys next time.
That was awesome, dude!